Be honest. Tell me the triad shape that you play the least, the one that finishes in dead last for you. So whatever number you put is going to be the one that gets the bronze medal. If you're honest, you kind of forget about it. So forget about it. So if this is G, that's shape 1. That's shape 2, the one that looks like the triangle from the D chord. And that's shape 3. So 1, 2, or 3. Which shape is the one that gets neglected? 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? Which shape? Choice 1, 2, or 3. Are you like, yikes, I hope that isn't on the quiz. So a lot of people are saying 3. All of them. Oh, come on, Michael B. You're changing that today. Good, yeah. The basic bar chords, what they give us is great. They give us a full set of 6 strings to play. Hallelujah, we got a big old G chord there. But they give us a lot of filler, just because to hold it in one spot, you're going to have a lot of notes that are the same, meaning we have 3 octaves, G, G, G. We have 2 fifths, D and D, and those D and D, those don't give you a whole lot other than a very nice, powerful, like, not surprisingly, the power chords are like, because that's just a root, and a fifth, right? So it has this very kind of sort of open, non-committal sound. You know, it wants to just have fun for a while because it doesn't bring us a third, in this case, a major third. Or if you made it minor, that makes it, so that 1/3 on the 3rd string, you know, the major or minor third, just a coincidence that's on the 3rd string this time, gives us the whole color of major or minor, which is just to say that if we break that big old bar chord up into different chunks, more interesting things happen. It starts to sound a little bit more like how a keyboard player would grab like 3 notes at a time. If there's any way they want to do it, of course they can do more things, but the underlying harmony of a triad is just like, so you see those lighting up inside of that full bar chord. There's a triad. And to make it a pure triad in the sense of having the exact ingredients, you need a root, a third, and a fifth. So that's that root, third, and fifth that makes up that. So conveniently, in this big old bar chord that's based off the 6th string, we get a proper triad there, because you get the 1, 3, and the 5. If we spell it down, and by that I mean we just go down 1 string lower, we have those 2 notes that are still in there as an overlap. All we did was move that root, that G, down to that G. Great, so it's the same thing. Now it's 1, 3, 5 in the stacking order. And so what makes triads really, one of the things that makes them very melodic, and they really blur the lines beautifully between chords and soloing, is that since they're more movable and smaller and leaner, they don't take up as much of the low end, and you can play them in different parts of the neck. But that top note of whatever the triad is, the highest note, is going to give you a sense of melody, meaning the more that we're fluid with these triads and we start to take them out of the mindset of like, oh, a triad is just like a small chord. Sure, it is. But like I said, if you're just going to play over this chord progression, right? Let's go over here so we can see it. If you were just going to be like playing a tiny G chord, treating a triad as that, it's going to get tiring on our ears, and it's going to feel boring to you. It's cool. It's a great place to start. It's a great place to get your feet wet. And then just... But now, imagine if you had some more of the triads a little more fluid. You could be like... That first phrase was just G. That was just triads of G. And again, I'm not saying like, this could be you. Like, I enjoyed it. That's like my style and my ear sensibilities. That's what I can teach best. So like, when I hear that, I just hear like this whole shape, this kind of like architecture. It's almost like the roof line of a house. It's like, boom, 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 and I'm hearing, there's a melody built in there, right? So that's my way of setting the hook to say it's worth it to learn triads in a way that can be at a very slow tempo, but has more, you have more space in your brain to be like, all right, if I wanted to, if I felt like it, I could go. I could go low, I could go high. I could use it to get up to another position for a scale. So if I was playing like a... combining, it's sort of like your way to leapfrog across the neck and then get to another area where you feel like, oh, I'll play if you can, you've had enough time to sort of process, look at the chords. They're all simple ones that live inside of G, diatonic chords, meaning they're in G major. The A minor is the only minor chord. So before we kick off on this, make sure you kind of have a couple choices that you can start with. That's what I call the sort of pre-flight checklist. Make sure your carry-on will fit in the overhead and you didn't just bring a whole duffel bag full of hockey pads because they stink and there's no way you're getting it up there. He's gonna try anyway, folks. He's gonna try anyway. So let's stay on strings 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we're just moving up and down strings 1, 2, and 3. But can you switch triads? So here we have less time to think. So maybe just one per chord change there. And then if you're feeling pretty good on that, can I ask you to try to play the game of not allowed to play the same triad twice? So there's a lot of G, but I got to keep moving. Play a different C, and play another one. Now just any old A minor. Right? By the way, oh my gosh, has it been a minute? Have we not talked about this in a bit? You guys, there's a whole new start. Start a plan, I need a theme song that is better than the one I'm singing right now. And if you feel like you need a starter plan, Oh wow, that sounded like...
If you wanna come jam with us, get a little bit better every day. You can start for free, swing by, guitar workout of the day.com.
You know, so triads are great. They're not anything to overly freak out about. Here's what I would prefer. If it was a choice between, okay, I feel like I got to sit down and beat myself up until I know all the triads, I don't want you to think of it that way. I would much rather you, in some ways, your answers are great because if you were to say, you know what, I don't know all the triad shapes, but the ones I know, I use all the time. It's like I don't drink beer often, but when I do, it's like the most interesting man on earth approach. But if you have it, that's what I want. So if you were just like, hey, coach, you know, these are the ones I like, you can keep the rest. And then you're like, okay, this one. Like, I'm totally good with that. I want fluency. I want expressiveness. I want you to feel and sound confident. And if you are the type of player that you're at the point where you're like, all right, what next? I'd say before you go on to new information, see maybe if you left a little meat on the bone. If we were eating chicken wings and you were one of those people that just took one bite and you're like, oh, that was great. And everyone's looking at your basket and they're like, are you kidding me? Don't be that type of person. So if you're leaving that third triad shape on the table, as it were, spend some time with it. And here's another way that we can get into making sure we hit all of them. So in this progression, we've got a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 5 chord. We also have a 2, obviously. But the 1 and the 4 and the 5 are really good in the way that they bump us into all 3 of the shapes. And the way to get there, here's your recipe, is stay in one spot of the neck. We're going to do a little more like playing the nearest neighbor. And that's going to be more of smaller movements, but more voice leading. Voice leading is when there's going to be notes that are in common, and then a couple notes, 1 or 2 notes will change, and it sounds more connected. Not better or worse, just different. I do happen to like the sound. Here's the example. There's a G. So now we're on strings. Actually, we'll go on strings 1, 2, and 3 if we've been using that. So here's strings 1, 2, and 3 for a G. Okay, now if the next time I need to play a triad, it's going to be a C. If I stay in the same spot, that would be the nearest one. That's our dreaded shape 3, but we're playing it on a C, right? And so notice that I didn't this time, I didn't let myself go up here, because that's cool, but also this is cool in a different way. So you play the nearest version of a C triad from where you are. And then the D, this is one, like we basically get this from the factory settings on the guitar. That's that open D shape. We're just playing the first 3 strings. And then A minor, just do whatever you can think of. Obviously, hopefully, you got one that's right there. Based off of that root, there's that top 3 strings. So let's try that. Just stay in one spot. We'll use those literal exact triads I just showed you. And just think, okay, G, great. C, okay, there's that shape. It comes out of the top 3 strings of that bar chord right there. It's always tough for me to hold that as a bar chord there. You get it. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Let's go now. Stay there again. Now we're going to the C. Get that C triad ready. A minor, just play what you got. Now go down to this D right there, just to humor me. Because I know you're thinking, well, what about this one that's up here? The game is to try to not repeat shapes, because when you do that, you'll end up hitting all 3 of the triad shapes. Voila, presto, right? Because if you're worried that you're neglecting one of these shapes, in this case, the chat was saying, oh yeah, we're forgetting this one. You're going to hit it, because that's just the math of it. The triads can stack on any given string set for guitar, like they can only stack 3 different ways, either 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, or 5, 1, 3, whatever. Like it works itself out, is all I'm trying to say. So we went up here to this G shape right there that looks like that. So if this melts your brain, all that means is that you got to like spend more time with these different bar chord and shapes to be like, oh yeah, I could find that G that lives up there in that sort of no man's land of the neck. There it is. There's the root. Oh, I can spell that shape right there. And then you've got a place to start. Let's try that. That would be G. And then the C that is most nearby would be that one. Back down to the G. And then the D would be this one right there. Here we go. So get ready with this one up here. 2, 3, 4. And again. Now we got an A minor. Use whichever one you got. Because I'm just trying to get us to zero in on the major shapes right now. Can we go up here to this one? That's that G. So you would carry on with this game, right? Find that. There's that G. Now we need the C. It's going to be right there. Kind of goes off the map, but it's the one that looks like the D shape. Now we got that A minor. Oh, okay. There's that D. Guitar friend, if you've been hearing about these guitar workouts of the day, I even made a shirt about it. It's like Peloton for guitar players. So you show up, you make progress, we do a live workout together. That's right, you, me, us together, actually live. And you can always watch the replays on your own schedule, but I keep a topic throughout the week, so you're staying on track, you're accountable, and here's the secret, you're playing more guitar. Sounds simple, but that momentum you create, what am I doing? Sounds simple, but that momentum you create when you show up with your new personal guitar coach, it's everything. Check it out, hit the link in the description, join us on this amazing new free starter plan. I'm gonna limit the availability, so get in while the getting's gettable, you know what I mean?